In this video, we're learning how to multiply binomials and trinomials. So we're going to learn how to multiply a binomial by a trinomial and a trinomial by a trinomial. So first, let's just review what a binomial and a trinomial are. So a binomial is just any expression that's made up of two terms being added or subtracted. So if we look at number 1, x plus 2 is a binomial because we have two terms, x and 2, and they're being added. The same with number 2, b minus 3 is a binomial because it has two terms, b and 3, and they're being subtracted. A trinomial is any expression that has three terms being added or subtracted. So in number 1, x squared plus 3x plus 1 is a trinomial because it has three terms. And in number 2, b squared minus 4b plus 5 is a trinomial. And if we look at the top of our screen, we're going to see some notes on how to multiply binomials and trinomials. So it says when multiplying binomials and trinomials, multiply each term in the first set of parentheses by each term in the second set of parentheses, and then add the results. So I'll show you guys what that means by starting with number 1. So for number 1, in the first set of parentheses, we have an x and a 2. So I have to multiply each of those terms by each of the three terms in the second set of parentheses. So I have to take this x and multiply it by x squared. So x times x squared is going to give me x cubed. I have to take the x and multiply it by 3x. So x times 3x is going to be a plus 3x squared. And then I have to take this x and multiply it by the plus 1, which is just going to be a plus x. So that's the result of multiplying the x in the first set of parentheses by every term in the second set of parentheses. And we're going to do the same thing for this plus 2. So you have to multiply the plus 2 by an x squared, which is plus 2x squared. We have to multiply the plus 2 by the plus 3x, which is plus 6x. And we have to multiply the plus 2 by the plus 1, which is just plus 2. So now we just have x cubed plus 3x squared plus x plus 2x squared plus 6x plus 2, and now we need to combine like terms. So this plus 3x squared and this plus 2x squared are like terms because they both have an x squared attached to them, and this plus x and this plus 6x are like terms because they both have x's attached to them, so we can combine those together. We can't do anything with the x cubed and the plus 2. So we're going to have x cubed. When we combine the x squared terms, the plus 3x squared and the plus 2x squared, we're going to get plus 5x squared. When we combine the x terms, we're going to have plus x plus 6x is going to be a plus 7x. And then again, we can't do anything with the 2, so we just have a plus 2 at the end. So we get x cubed plus 5x squared plus 7x plus 2. Let's take a look at example 2, which is the quantity of b minus 3 times the quantity of b squared minus 4b plus 5. So we're going to do a similar thing. This b has to multiply by every term in the second set of parentheses. So we're going to do b times b squared, which is b cubed. Then we need to multiply the b by minus 4b, which is a minus 4b squared. We need to multiply the b by a plus 5, which is plus 5b. And now we need to multiply the minus 3 in the first set of parentheses by every term in the second set of parentheses. So minus 3 times b squared is minus 3b squared. Minus 3 times minus 4b is going to give us a plus 12b. And minus 3 times plus 5 is going to give us a minus 15. And now again we need to combine like terms. So we can combine the negative 4b squared and the negative 3b squared because they both have a b squared attached. And we can combine the plus 5b with the plus 12b. So the b cubed stays as it is because we can't combine it with anything. Negative 4b squared minus 3b squared is negative 7b squared. plus 5b plus 12b is going to be plus 17b. And then we have this minus 15 at the end that cannot be combined with anything. So we get b cubed minus 7b squared plus 17b minus 15. Let's go through some more examples. So for these next two examples, we're multiplying a trinomial by a trinomial. So we're going to use a similar process, but it's going to be a little longer because we have three terms in each set of parentheses. So we're going to start by taking this x squared in the first set of parentheses and multiplying it by x squared in the second set of parentheses, which is going to give me x to the fourth. And now we need to take that x squared and multiply it by the minus 5x in the second set of parentheses, and that gives me a minus 5x cubed. And now I need to take that x squared and multiply it by the plus 1 in the second set of parentheses, which is plus x squared. And I'm going to erase these lines so I can show you guys how to multiply the 2x by everything in the second set of parentheses. So now we take this 2x, multiply it by x squared, which is plus 2x cubed. And we take the 2x and multiply it by minus 5x, which is minus 10x squared. And we take the 2x and multiply it by the positive 1, and we get plus 2x. And now finally, we're going to have to take this minus 3 and multiply it by everything in the second set of parentheses. So minus 3 times x is minus 3x squared. Or sorry, minus 3 times x squared is minus 3x squared. Minus 3 times minus 5x is going to be a plus 15x. And I'm going to put it down here on this next line because I'm running out of space. So plus 15x. And then minus 3 times plus 1 is going to give me a minus 3. And now we're going to have to go through and combine like terms. So I'm going to box and circle the like terms in a similar way. So we have this negative 5x cubed and this positive 2x cubed. So those are like terms. We have a negative 10x squared. We have a plus x squared, and we have a minus 3x squared. Those are like terms. And then we have this plus 2x and this plus 15x that are like terms. So the x to the fourth and the minus 3 can't be combined with anything because they don't have any other like terms. So we're going to keep the x to the fourth as it is. And now if we look at the x cubes that are boxed, we have a minus 5x cubed plus x cubed. That's a minus 3x cubed. If we look at the x squareds that are circled, we have a plus x squared, which is plus 1x squared, minus 10x squared, minus 3x squared. That's going to give us minus 12x squared. If we look at the x terms that are underlined, we have a plus 2x and a plus 15x, which is plus 17x. And then we have this minus 3. So we get x to the fourth minus 3x cubed minus 12x squared plus 17x minus 3. So now let's take a look at example 4, which is another trinomial times a trinomial. So we're going to start by taking the a squared in the first set of parentheses, multiplying it by every term in the second set. So we're going to do a squared times a squared, which is going to give us a to the fourth. We're going to do a squared times positive 4a, which is going to give us positive 4a cubed. And then we're going to do a squared times minus 7, which is minus 7a squared. And now we need to do the same thing with this minus 6a. So we're going to multiply minus 6a times a squared, which is minus 6a cubed. We're going to multiply minus 6a times plus 4a, which is minus 24a squared. And we're going to multiply negative 6a by negative 7, which is positive 42a. And finally, we have to take this negative 1 in the first set of parentheses and multiply it by everything in the second set. So negative 1 times a squared is negative a squared, and I'll put it down here. Negative 1 times a positive 4a is negative 4a. And negative 1 times negative 7 is just a positive 7. And now we need to combine like terms. So we have a plus 4a cubed, that will go with a negative 6a cubed. We've got a negative 7a squared, a negative 24a squared, and a negative a squared. And then we have a plus 42a and a minus 4a. So our a to the fourth stays as it is. If we combine the a cubes in the pink boxes, plus 4a cubed minus 6a cubed is minus 2a cubed. If we combine the a squareds in the blue, negative 7a squared minus 24a squared is negative 31a squared. And we have to take away another a squared, so we get negative 32a squared. If we combine together the a terms in the green, we have plus 42a minus 4a, and that's going to give us a plus 38a. And we have this plus 7, so we get a to the fourth minus 2a cubed minus 32a squared plus 38a plus 7. Let's go through two more examples just to make sure we've got this down. So for these last two examples, I encourage you guys to pause the video and try them on your own, and then you can watch me work through them to make sure you did them correctly. So number 5, we're doing a binomial by a trinomial, but this time we have some coefficients in front of our first terms in each set of parentheses. So we have a 2 and a 3 in the front. So we're going to start by taking this 2k in the first set of parentheses, multiplying it by everything in the second set. So 2k times 3k squared is going to be a 6k cubed. Now we multiply 2k by 2k, which is just 4k squared. And we multiply a 2k by a minus 4, which is going to be a negative 8k. And now we have to take the negative 8 and multiply it by every term in the second set of parentheses. So negative 8 times a positive 3k squared is going to be negative 24k squared. Negative 8 times a positive 2k is going to be negative 16k. And negative 8 times negative 4 is a positive 32. And now we want to combine like terms. So we have a 4k squared that we can put with our negative 24k squared. And we have a negative 8k that can be combined with a negative 16k. So we have 6k cubed. Positive 4k squared minus 24k squared is going to be negative 20k squared. Negative 8k and a negative 16k is going to be a negative 24k. And then we have this plus 32. So we get 6k cubed minus 20k squared minus 24k plus 32. And if we look at our last example, we're multiplying two trinomials that both have coefficients in front of the n squared. So this one's going to take a little bit more work, but we're going to do the same thing. So we need to take this 3n squared and start by multiplying it by 2n squared. So 3 times 2 is 6, and n squared times n squared is n to the fourth. So we get 6n to the fourth. We're going to multiply 3n squared by minus n, which is minus 3n cubed. And we're going to multiply 3n squared by minus 4, which is minus 12n squared. And now what we're going to do is we have to take the 7n and multiply it by every term in the second set of parentheses. So 7n times 2n squared is going to be 14n cubed. 7n times minus n is minus 7n squared. And 7n times minus 4 is minus 28n. And finally, we want to take the 2 in the first set of parentheses and multiply it by every term in the second set. So we're going to have positive 2 times a positive 2n squared is going to be a plus 4n squared. Positive 2 times negative n is negative 2n. And positive 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And now we want to combine like terms, so we have a negative 3n cubed that can go with a positive 14n cubed, and we have a negative 12n squared that can go with a negative 7n squared and a positive 4n squared. And we have a negative 28n that can go with a negative 2n. So our 6n to the fourth stays as it is. If we combine the n cubes, we have minus 3n cubed plus 14n cubed, which is plus 11n cubed. If we combine the n squareds, we have negative 12n squared minus 7n squared, that's going to give us negative 19n squared, plus 4n squared is going to bring us back to negative 15n squared. If we put together the n terms, negative 28n minus 2n is negative 30n, and we have this negative 8 at the end. So we get 6n to the fourth plus 3n cubed minus 15n squared minus 30n minus 8. So hopefully this video helped you guys learn how to multiply binomials and trinomials. You just need to remember that you have to multiply each term in the first set of parentheses by each term in the second set of parentheses, and then you need to combine the results by combining like terms.